You talk about going to Georgia. It's time for the offense to progress, but definitely wait for them to come off of a big win last week and continue.
Take a look at it. Also, 7 different wide receivers he targeted. I thought that was important. So the ball around them to kind of get that going. All right, so 45-10, looking forward to that matchup coming up next weekend. But this was the matchup all eyes were on throughout college football as well. Alabama and the Florida Gators. And that place was loud, early, and often. And how about this? Early, first drive, just kind of what they do, Chiz, right off the bat.
Yeah, this is what Alabama does best, right? Get the ball out to their playmakers in open space and let them make people miss. It happened early and often in the game, but Florida's defense recovered.
After a Gators field goal, Bryce Young connecting with the wide-open Jaleel Billingsley. Looked like Ben Watson getting this done, kind of tiptoeing.
Man, that wheel route now will get him every time. Florida just drops the coverage, and Bryce does a great job putting the ball where the big tight end can get it.
Emory Jones looking to keep up. Pressured, though, offensive line. Would be a tale of two halves for that offensive line. Not doing any favors there. Alabama with the interception. Tide would take advantage. This is still the first quarter. This is what Bryce Young and the Alabama Tide can do.
Well, it was a perfect start. I mean, you're playing complementary football, setting the offense up with short field opportunities. It's 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. You're thinking the game is getting away. But no panic from Florida. I thought that the poise was one of the things that stood out the most for me, despite having double-digit deficits at multiple times throughout the game, Ben.
You were poised.
My poise was not as good, right?
Not all day.
Not all day, but he believed in him, and they came back and fought back. I mean, this was like a heavyweight fight, I think. 21-3, and then all of a sudden, Florida gets that rushing attack going.
3rd and 4th down conversions in the second half kept drives alive, and I thought Emory Jones played a tremendous game. We talked a lot about AR-15 versus Emory Jones. Emory went the wire to wire today and did a great job of keeping his team in the football game by making plays on 3rd down.
A couple unforced errors. That's one of them. Nick Saban going to have some fun in the film room, I'm sure, with that one post-game. Gators would make them pay. Down 8, 3 minutes to go. Dameon Pierce, only 24 yards rushing for him, but he had 2 touchdowns. That was an important one, 17 yards. He scampers. 2-point attempt. Did you like the call?
I didn't have a problem with the call because Florida had been gashing Alabama's front all day long running the football. Just well defended by Alabama in that particular situation.
All right, so we look at the clock. $1:36 left. 3rd and 2. Big play, Chiz. Just enough push.
Yeah, just enough push. And again, Florida's defense, I thought they were superb. After those first couple of drives, they dug their cleats in and played a really, really solid game. Hats off to Todd Grantham.
Bryce Young, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns for him. Alabama remains undefeated, 31-29. Here's Coach Nick Saban after the dub.
Coach, this game delivered as it was billed. I know consistency is a word that you were big on today, but was resiliency the answer in the end?
Well, I think so, and I think the offense did a great job of answering the bell in the game. We didn't stop them on defense. We had some long yardage situations. We didn't execute very well. But the offense always answered the bell, and I think that was the key to the game. So, but our team needs to learn how to just maintain intensity throughout the game. I thought we got tired on defense. They looked a lot quicker than us. But, we got a lot of good players. We just got to get them to play a little better.
And you could talk Bryce Young's ear off until it was blue about what it was going to be like here, but he had clock issues down the stretch, and he was the true field general. What do you have to say about his performance?
Well, he did a good job, but I also about had a heart attack a couple times when the shot clock's down to 1. All right, and but he did do a great job. He managed the game well. One of the things that was an issue for us is we like to go on clap, and the center couldn't hear the clap, so we had to go on silent. And when we went on silent, we got a couple penalties because we weren't all on the same page. It's what happened on the 1-yard line with all the noise. So, but for the most part, guys did a pretty good job.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You hear Coach Saban talking about what the crowd meant to that game, but it was a fantastic ending. Overall, if you're Nick Saban, how are you grading that win over Florida?
It's a great win. I went down to the Swamp right now and found almost 100,000 people and beat Florida, which is a very good football team. But I'm going to tell you something. This Florida team, what I saw today, they grew up right before our eyes in a lot of ways. CD, you had mentioned earlier that you were impressed with their poise. Let's think about this. They went down 21-3. They had 13 unanswered offensive points that they scored. Defense came in 3 times in a row, went 3 and out, gained the confidence. Look at what Emory Jones did as the game came down to the end, right? It was a drive to tie the game. It was 3rd and 19. He completes one for 17, and then on 4th down, completes it again for the first down to keep the drive alive. What I saw him do today is exactly why Dan Mullen has adamantly said there is no quarterback controversy, because he saw that. Today, Emory Jones grew up along with that offense.
By the way, you left
Very
out
impressed.
that 99-yard drive that they had when they backed up after a poor decision on a kick return as well.
Yeah. Identity. You know, I think part of growing up for a player, Emory Jones, and for a football team is about identity. And you saw Florida figure out what their identity was. They were a running football team in that second half. They were a physical football team in that second half. They said, you know, we're not going to come out and try to finesse you. Yes, we can throw the ball. We can do those things. But their defense stepped up. And it's crazy we're talking so much about Florida when Alabama won, but it's like we always talk about Alabama.
Yeah.
So for Florida, they realized, okay, this is how we're going to have to play Alabama. And the crazy thing is everybody's trying to figure out what is the key, what is the kryptonite for Alabama. Well, in this game we saw Florida run the ball sufficiently against them.
I'll say the thing that was surprising to me, too, is we're getting a picture of what the SEC actually looks like here. It's not Alabama and everybody else this year. You're seeing Florida. You're seeing Georgia in that mix. We're seeing Ole Miss. I think this is going to be a much more contested league than it's been in the last 5 years.
It was a loss for the Florida Gators, but probably a win for all of college football. They kind of thought after 21-3, I mean, what else can you just throw at Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide? The Gators almost get that upset. All right, we got a lot more coming up, including a good game over at Happy Valley. Now it's time for Principals Worth a Watch. And, of course, we're just about 8 minutes away until the whiteout. Jarquez Hunter, Chiz, him and Tank Bigsby, what a great 1-2 punch this has turned out for Mike Bobo's offense.
Yeah, what a surprise, right? Who even knew anything about Hunter coming into the season until he busted his head on the goalpost last week with a 95-yard touchdown run. But what a duo of backs. And I'm going to tell you where this really comes into play. We haven't seen Bo Nix carry the football on design quarterback runs because they haven't needed to in the first 2 games. When you got 2 tailbacks like Hunter and Tank Bigsby, you can throw in some quarterback run game with Bo Nix and really give defenses problems.
Noah Cain, of course, having a little bit of success, a modicum of success against the Badgers, who, CD, you thought Wisconsin played better in that game than Penn State, even though Penn State won it.
They did.